Good afternoon and welcome to this Micrographics webinar. Today's topic is going to be all about rooted systems and your environments tab in Inventor Professional. And we're just going to wait a few more minutes if anyone else wants to join us, and then we will begin the webinar shortly. All right, I don't think anyone else is going to join us, so we will just continue as normal. All right, so let's discuss the agenda for today. Like we said, the topic for today is rooted systems in Inventor Professional. And our agenda is going to be, first we're going to discuss a little bit about me, who I am, what I do. Then we're going to take a look at the purpose of this webinar, what exactly we're trying to achieve. Then we're going to discuss rooted systems itself. Take a look at the assembly tree in Inventor, because that can sometimes get confusing when dealing with your environments, your specialized environments, that is, in this case, cable and harness and tube and pipe. And then we're going to do a live demonstration to show you what it actually looked like in practice. And at the end, we'll have a small Q&A session where you guys can ask questions and I will try to answer them as best I can, or one of my colleagues will. And we'll also see my contact details and a little bit more about Micrographics essay. Okay, let's get started. So about me, my name is Irshad Hanif. I'm an application engineer with Micrographics. I have approximately 8 years of experience in the engineering, primarily mechanical engineering field. My experience extends to AutoCAD, Inventor, and Fusion 360 mainly. So that includes all sorts of drawings, layouts, 3D modeling, as well as CAM and product data management. So if you want to get in touch, you're more than welcome to ask me about any of those fields. Okay, I'm also an Autodesk certified professional, which means I've taken my Autodesk exam and I'm now registered as a certified professional. Okay, that's enough about me. Let's jump to the purpose of this presentation. Firstly, we would like to introduce Inventor Professional Environments to those who may not be familiar with it. In particular, the scope of this webinar is going to be cable and harness and tube and pipe. There's a lot of other tools available in your environments tab, but like I said, just for this webinar, we're going to focus on cable and harness and tube and pipe. I would like to show you how they can be used because a lot of people aren't really aware that they are there and they can add value to whatever type of electromechanical designs you're making. We will explore some example situations. So I have some little test models and real life projects that I did for clients, so you can see what they look like. And then we'll show you how they can help improve your creation of assemblies by having everything in one place. So hopefully they will benefit you in some way. Okay, so let's discuss Inventor Environments. So in Inventor, you have a little tab there called Environments, and you will see that's where you normally find your stress analysis, your frame analysis, also your Inventor Studio to do renderings. But what we're going to discuss today is about the cable and harness and tube and pipe. Okay, I've listed here in this slide all the different menus you will see in the different environments. Now, keep in mind that in the assembly environment, you will see one set of tools, and in the part environment, you will see another set of tools. Some of them are the same, but notice that you won't get things like weldment or stress analysis in your part environment, which makes sense because when you want to do, for example, a frame analysis, you would need to be in an assembly so that you can use that. And it's the same with cable and harness and tube and pipe. You will not find them in the part environment. So if you have an open IPT, you cannot use the cable and harness and tube and pipe tools. You need to have multiple parts in an assembly or an IAM file open such that you can see these menus available under the Environments tab. Okay, so the specialized environments are available in the Environments tab. Like we said, each specialized environment has its own contextual tab. So what does that mean? The moment you enter something like tube and pipe, for example, it will open up another completely new set of tools or another completely new set of tab called pipe run. And you will see it labeled there in blue, pipe run, and it gives you a whole new set of buttons, and it only exists for that particular instance that you're using the tube and pipe tool. And furthermore, you'll get subcontextual tabs, and that will link to the assembly tree on your left-hand side, and it will create its own names according to the naming structure, or you can create your own names for each one of those instances. I will show you more in detail when we get to the live demonstration, but for now, what you need to know is that they create subcontextual tabs. Okay. On the far right of the ribbon, you'll find your finish or complete that particular contextual tab. So in this case, I have the tube and pipe open. You must do everything in here and then click finish tube and pipe, and then you can exit and go back to the assembly as per normal. Okay. So we just want to establish the basics here in the slide. We just want to say that tube and pipe and cable and harness are add-ins to the assembly environment, meaning that, like we said, you only find them in the assembly environment and they are basically add-ons to the normal workflow. So you can go and create these tube and pipes and cable and harnesses, and the moment you exit, it's back to a regular assembly. There's no added functionality. Inventor understands what you did and keeps it in one separate place on the assembly tree. Okay. The tube and pipe add-in to Autodesk Inventor provides the means to create complete tube and piping systems, making use of standard library parts. Okay, and we will show you exactly what we mean by that. They would involve using the tube and pipe styles. Okay, the cable and harness add-in to the Autodesk Inventor assembly environment provides the means to create three-dimensional wire harnesses in the context of standard Autodesk Inventor assemblies. So basically, it allows you to route your little wires and segments so that you can wrap them all up in a cable if you are plugging in an electromechanical assembly. Okay, so let's take a look at the workflow for cable and harness. Okay, I know this is a lot of text, but this is basically straight out of the official Autodesk workflow. And I've tried to color code things in such a way that I've put first like the prepping area, and then the actual task area in light blue, and then in orange I've added some optional tasks, and then in red you don't really need to do all of this, but they're just extra features. But the main idea behind this workflow is that you would prep your tool, create your assembly, prep your parts, create your assembly, and then give them properties or values or whatever it is to make them more detailed and legible for the next person who's going to understand your diagrams. And then you can furthermore work on that with stuff like virtual parts or generating reports and nailboard drawings, etc., etc. In general, to summarize what I just said, it's going to be prep your parts. Again, that's the very important part, because you got to know how to prep your parts correctly so that they work with the cable and harness environment. So if any connector or pin or any connector or little plug that you want to use in your environment must be prepped, defining what is a pin and what is a point and where you would like things to start and end. Then you would put them in your assembly. Once you've got your assembly open, you can navigate to the cable and harness environment. And from there, you can create your wires and segments and you do attempt to route them. Okay. The same thing can be said about the tube and pipe environment. Okay. This again is the official workflow according to Autodesk's manuals. Okay. So if you can actually probably find this online on their help. But the idea being that you've got to do some prep, you've got to import your data, and then you'll be able to navigate to the tube and pipe environment and insert your pipes. Again, to summarize very simply, create your assembly, navigate to your tube and pipe, and lastly, you want to create a route and populate using whatever library parts you've assigned to that tube and pipe. Okay, so I know I've sped through that very quickly, but it's very difficult to talk about these things without showing you a visual representation. So that obviously means we need to jump to a live demo. So let me just switch my screens here and I will take you to the screen that has Inventor open. And I hope you guys can all see that clearly. And we're going to start off with the live demonstration of cable and harness. Okay, so this is an example of an assembly that you may use cable and harness tools on. For some reason, I cannot rotate this. I'm just going to move things around here. All right. I'm just going to go home. There we go. All right. Thank you for your patience here. It's just I was having trouble with my keyboard not reaching the right area. Okay. So this is an example, like we said, of a electromechanical assembly that we would like to use. And you can see here that I have some parts that I would like to route. So for example, I would like to have these pins meet at perhaps maybe perhaps they would route from there onto the 5 Molex connector onto the PCB that you can see on screen. Okay, so like we said, the most important step to start off with is to prep your parts. And I have already I've already created a simplified version of that so that we don't get bogged down by the details too much. Okay. I'm just going to pause that instead. Oh, geez. And you can see here, that's better, I think.